Hi guys, it's Sebastian. We're back with another video for you today. Today we're going to go ahead and compare Mugler's A Men in this bottle and by Kilian's Intoxicated in this bottle. So stay tuned. So Intoxicated has been launched about 8 or 10 months ago by Kilian. It's exclusive to Saks.com or Saks Fifth Avenue, or you can get it from by Kilian stores. There are a few around the globe, and you can order online, of course. This fragrance, when it was launched, a lot of people said it smells just like A Men. I don't need to buy Intoxicated because it's exactly identical and things like that. But when you first sniff it, probably you kind of think that, yeah, because it's got something similar to A Men. It's probably what happens to A Men in the dry down is what you smell at the top. There's not a huge note breakdown with by Kilian's Intoxicated, and it's all about coffee anyway. But there's a lot of differences with this fragrance, and a lot of folks are just jumping to that conclusion. It's like, oh, well, it's similar to A Men, I'm not going to go ahead and spend the money for it. And hell yeah, okay, for sure you can think that, and I think I'm fine with you saying that. There are similarities, and it might be a redundant fragrance with A Men by Mugler. But when you do some experimenting, you'll start noticing that there are such different scents. I mean, completely different scents. The pricing difference is really big. I mean, you can pick up probably a bottle of 3.4 ounce A Men for about $50 discounted, sometimes even lower than that. But with Intoxicated, like this, it's $270 for a 50 ml plus tax. It's a lot of money. They recently came out with the refill bottles. A 50 ml refill goes for $170. So it is cheaper for 50 mls as a refill bottle, but still, it's a quite expensive fragrance compared to A Men. So what are the differences with these fragrances? Why do I think you should get it if you have the money? I think definitely it's definitely a worthy fragrance, especially for those folks that like gourmands or coffee as a dominant note. Let me go ahead and quickly tell you the little note breakdowns. With Mugler's A Men, there's a lot going on with notes, and mind you, this Mugler's A Men was launched in 1996, almost 20 years after Intoxicated came out. Perhaps that's also another reason why Intoxicated is getting a lot of flack, because you know, it's not anything groundbreaking and things like that. But Mugler's A Men, as I said, came out in '96. On the top, you've got coriander, lavender, green notes, dried fruits, mint, bergamot. In the mids with A Men, you have honey, patchouli, jasmine, milk, caramel, lily of the valley, cedar. Finally, in the base, you've got sandalwood, tonka bean, amber, patchouli, musk, benzoin, vanilla, coffee. That's where the coffee comes in. By Kilian's Intoxicated, there's not really a top, a mid, and a base. Basically, the notes are 4 different notes. You've got coffee, you've got cardamom, nutmeg, and cinnamon. That's it. Nothing else with this fragrance. So when you spray Intoxicated, you're going to smell coffee. And when it dries down, you're going to still smell the same coffee. It doesn't go on a lot of journeys with this fragrance, but what a beautiful coffee fragrance this is. This actually is hands down a really true coffee scent. And being from the Middle East, I grew up drinking Turkish coffee. Turkish coffee is very thick and ground, like it has coffee grounds in it. Usually it settles in the bottom of the coffee. And in the Middle East, we have the Turkish coffee with cardamom. It's like a tradition. You would, you know, roast cardamom and grind it up, and it would be incorporated with the coffee, ground up coffee. So it actually just smells exactly like that to me. Just having that stuff over and over again. And when I kept smelling Intoxicated in the store before I bought it, I kept thinking, God, that's what it smells like, because the dominant note in this fragrance is coffee, but right behind that there's another dominant note of cardamom. And cardamom is a spice that's used in the Middle East quite a lot, and I love the way it smells, and it's really, really true with this. So imagine a little kettle or a pot of Turkish coffee boiling after, you know, it's been simmering and stuff like that. That's exactly what I get with Intoxicated. Now it doesn't, like I said, it doesn't take you on a lot of journeys. It's all about the coffee and nothing but the coffee. So that's kind of perhaps a negative thing for some folks, because a lot of folks would like to have a different top note and a different mid note and finally a different dry down. I think it kind of dries down maybe a little woodsy, but it's all about coffee, cardamom, nutmeg, and a little dash, a little hint of cinnamon to me. Not a big cinnamon, but a tiny, tiny little amount. So that's what I get with by Kilian's Intoxicated. Now with Mugler A Men, it's completely different. Mugler's A Men, I was a big fan of it upon its release. I wore it to death. I loved it a lot. It was a big, bold fragrance that I loved spraying all over. I wore it in the summer, I wore it in the winter. I just wore it a lot. In my mid-teen, actually in my mid-20s. So it's part of my fragrance wardrobe. It's just always will be there. It has gone through some changes throughout the years. I think it's become a little lighter. It's not as big and beastly as it used to be, but it's still, I think it's a pretty beastly fragrance for what it is. Now, with Mugler's A Men, there's a lot of dirty things happening with it. It's got like something, tar is a word I hear a lot. Something dirty, kind of just rough around the edges kind of a thing happening with A Men. But the other cool thing is, with A Men, I get lavender, a big time lavender. It's there, which I don't get at all with Intoxicated. I also get the caramel note. Caramel, kind of sweet, sweetish kind of vanilla kind of thing happening, which I also don't get in Intoxicated. Intoxicated, as I said, is all about the coffee, and there's no like sweetish kind of vanilla, caramelly kind of a vibe with it at all. A Men is all about the gourmand. It's a groundbreaking gourmand fragrance. So that's why the caramel note, the vanilla, and all that good stuff are in there. But then there's that lavender too, which is pretty dominant for me. It comes off pretty lavendery at the top. The coffee is there, but the lavender is bigger. It does dry down to be similar to Intoxicated, and I think that's where people are kind of jumping the gun and saying, well, it's very similar to Intoxicated. Why would I need Intoxicated? Think of this. Think of a very fine, refined whiskey or some kind of a liqueur that you would buy and pay hundreds and hundreds of dollars for. That's what this is. This is Intoxicated, and it is a refined version of A Men without all of the extra excess notage or notes that are in A Men. I'm not putting down A Men here. I absolutely love A Men. I really do. But I also really love Intoxicated. I think I wanted A Men to be not so rough around the edges, and it is. It definitely has been. And as I said, it's been toned down a bit, but it's still got those rough around the edges kind of thing happening. It does have a bit of a dirtiness to it. Not like skanky, but kind of just dirty, kind of soily, or tar is another term. But the Intoxicated is just a perfection. It's just perfection. Performance-wise, also, I'm not gonna fault A Men. I'm gonna fault Intoxicated. Performance-wise, with A Men, I get 12 hours-ish. It's a big performing fragrance. Unfortunately, with Intoxicated, I get not as much. I get a good 7 hours, 6.5 to 7.5 hours toss-up. It's not a big projecting fragrance, unlike A Men is. It projects a lot. It's more laid back, calm, relaxed, not to kind of excite, just to kind of be there, to smell great, not to overwhelm other noses around you. Just, you know, a pleasant, beautiful, refined coffee scent. A Men is completely the opposite. It's there to wow people. It's there to overwhelm people. It's there to kind of get people's attention, and I've used it for that. I used to use it for that, and I've actually experienced other people using it for that. This fragrance has a lot of history with me, and I always love it. But when I want something a little more calm and a little more true coffee, I'll definitely pull for the Intoxicated because it's just a beautiful, beautiful coffee scent. But when I want loudness, when I want to go to a club and hang out and be partying and stuff like that, I'll go with this one. This one I can get away during the day, most any day. This one I would not get away during the day. I think I would have to think about wearing this one at night mostly because it's so loud. So that's my explanation and my take on the differences between these two fragrances, guys. If you've thought about Intoxicated and you've thought, okay, people are saying it smells like A Men, yes, it does have A Men-ish qualities, but it's not A Men. It's not the same fragrance. It's totally different, as I said. Think about it. Get your noses on it. Perhaps get a sample or get it on a split or a decant or something, because you'll be like thinking, God, why did I not take action and get this fragrance? Because you know what, you might actually end up liking it, especially if you like A Men and go notice the differences, because there really are a lot of differences here. So that's pretty much it, guys. Thanks so much for watching. Like this video, share it. If you want to pick up either of these fragrances, I'll have links as always in the info box below. If you haven't followed me on Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook, do follow me, and I'll be back with more videos very soon. Have a good one. Goodbye.